You know, Reed, as long as you're not talking about me, that's fine. Welcome in, everybody. We're going to continue. I decided to do this instead of Grand Blue tonight because we had a nice, long discussion about the Fruit Group. And those are always nice and fun. I figured I didn't want to add on to my stress. We're going to do about 2 hours of this and call it good. Alright, so I just got to the visitors room here. Oh, you withheld information from me. Why? Hey, I didn't withhold anything. At least I didn't mean to.
Okay, so you are a member of the Big Berry Circus, right?
No, I mean, yes, but no. Not really a member. I'm still new. That's irrelevant. You're still a member. And down he goes.
Let's try this again. Why didn't you tell us?
Because it would have looked so suspicious, me being a performer in the circus show. And me being friends with Bronco. I thought if anyone found out, nobody would believe I was innocent. Not even you, Kay. I thought I'd made it clear that I believed in you. But when you stare at me like that, I get so terrified, You're a real smooth operator, aren't you, Miles? Any other client-scaring tips you want to share? You're not really helping here, Fender. And at this rate, it sounds like we really need to question about everything all over again.
So, what did you do at the circus, Simeon?
I'm an animal tamer, kind of. I'm still learning ropes.
That's so cool. Do you get to train lions and tigers and bears and stuff?
Lions, tigers, bears, oh my! No. I work with this little guy. It's pretty tame already to me. So you're not exactly a tamer, more like one of those old-timey organ grinders. Now, money, I'm trying to... Oh, you little scamp. Something tells me it's the organ grinder who's being monkeyed around. No, wait, because I'm going to see the ads here in a second. So I'm just waiting. We spoke to you before. You said you worked at a company. I was telling the truth. The circus really is a company. You'll have titles and everything. The Ringmaster's the CEO, and I guess you would call me a gopher? Alright, there's the ad break. We'll give it just a second here. Wait for everybody to come in. I did start a bit early because I didn't want to wait. I wanted to try and get at that 9:30 start. So. But, yeah, I hope everyone's having a good night tonight. It's a pretty late start for me, but, you know, with the fruit stuff, I was just going over everything. And I wanted to kind of, you know, make sure I had everything ready to go, you know. So we're out here. We're doing it now. We're relaxing. Tomorrow should be through unless things, you know, don't go well, which I can't, I hope they don't, but we'll see. We're working on trying to fill the group up for 3 weeks now, so like I'm just hoping everything works out. But yeah, so we'll get back to that tomorrow. Should be a good time. I'm looking forward to it. Oh, I'm tired. I'm glad I didn't play tonight. I need to play a little bit tomorrow, I guess, to make up for it, just to get ready, used to it, but I probably won't have much time. Depends on if hopefully, like I said, hopefully we go for it tomorrow, so I won't have much time to play. Maybe I'll play a little bit after, because I'll get out of raid around 10:30, so I get a little bit of time afterwards. I can do everything, so. We'll see how things roll. Alright, welcome back, everybody. Ad break's finishing up. Welcome back. Even if a line manager, she's head of the animal taming department. It's part of the showbiz division. She's such an inspiration. There isn't a creature in the world she couldn't convince to do her bidding. Yeah, even Miles here? I'd like to see somebody whip him into shape. Allie, thank you for the raid. Welcome, man. How was the rest of Rise? Get right back to... I'm not some kind of creature, Fender. So this line manager, was she working with you on the show? Yes, it was just us two. It wasn't all that big of a job compared to what we normally do. She's usually the one performing on stage. I just do all the monkey work. But I did have a bit part this time. Only 2 members of the circus are relevant to this case. Alright, talk me through your movements here at the facility. Sure, I came to see Bronco around noon 2 days ago. And that was when you brought him the chess set? Yeah. And that same evening, I started work on the setting up the stage in the yard. It was so hard, I had to haul everything in by myself over multiple trips. Let's use one of the rooms in the prison for storage. Workshop A, I think. Workshop A, where Knight's body was found. You mean your boss didn't help you? Oh no, I could never ask her to schlep all that stuff around. Like I said, the monkey work's my job. Once it was all set up, we did a run-through, and it must have been, midnight by the time I left. The next morning, I was back and ready for the show, which started at 8 a.m. Then we performed till 10. So Mr. Sit was the only one of the pair to have us enter the room where the body was found. The Knight's body was found immediately after the show ended. Do you have any idea why you were arrested? It was so quickly. I've never seen a guy get booked so fast. Surely even Lil Winter wouldn't just pull somebody in on a hunch. Underestimate the power of an underdeveloped intellect. You think I might know why? When I was moving all this stuff, I went to go see what he was how he was doing. Bronco, I mean... You went to the holding cells on your own? Tell me you had permission. No, it wasn't a formal visit or anything. So I just sort of snuck over and hoped no one spotted me. But you'd just seen him earlier that same day. Why take the risk? I've known him since we were kids. And both of us were all alone. He doesn't have any family, you see, just like me. I knew I'd be feeling lonely, that he'd want someone to talk to, so I had to go see him. You don't have any family? For a while I had my dad, but he passed when I was a little kid. I was one's father as a child. I know that pain all too well. He's just like you and me, Mr. Edgeworth. There was nobody else nearby when you went to see him? No, the other holding cells were empty, and I didn't see any guards. Hey, well, somebody must have seen you, or you wouldn't be in here. Oh no, I messed up bad, didn't I? Did something happen when the two were alone together? At least, I imagine that would be Winter and Judge Gavel's thinking. In any case, I think we'll need to speak with your boss next. Last I heard, she's supposed to be around today, too. Somewhere in the yard. Tell her I'm sorry, won't you? I'm so sorry. I can't believe I let this happen. Sure thing, Simeon. We're here for you. If there's anything else you need, just say the word. But, I mean, there's nothing I can do for you in return. You don't have to worry about that. We're friends. We know what it's like to be in your shoes. We're all part of the same club after all. Right, Mr. Edgeworth? Unfortunately so, I'm afraid. Thank you for sharing such personal details with us. By the sound of it, you had little reason to kill Knight. If anything, you are the one most affected by his passing. And what's more, I simply don't believe a person as gentle as you is capable of murder. Rest assured, we believe you, and we will get you out of here. Well, what do we have here? Gosh darn defense attorney, that's what. Bravo, big guy. I can't believe I'm saying it. You even reminded me of your old man there for a moment. I did? From the Book of Gregory, an attorney is a friend to the friendless. Simeon, me bucko, this guy'll suffer any hardship for your friendship. Things are gonna be shiply amazing. I didn't realize Talk Like a Pirate Day had come this early this year, Fender. But that's just the thing, you never know when a pirate will strike next. Anyway, kid, you want some candy? No, thanks. I don't like sweet stuff. Oh, huh? Bummer.
I wouldn't mind a nice ship myself. A great thief's galleon for the dread pirate K. Yahar, me matey, ye hearties. We'll sail the seven seas together and claim the greatest treasure of all, the truth.
Share me timbers, you two will be the death of me. Come on, let's set sail for the prison yard. But no sea shanties on the way, please.
Look, the shutter's open.
That's the way out to the yard, I believe.
Let's go take a look. Come on, what are you waiting for?
Someone's excited. This is the famous yard. Circus performers taking place here just before the body was discovered.
Check it out. It's like the backdrop to some epic festival.
Most of the prisoners were assembled here when the body was discovered, which means that anyone who saw the show has an alibi. Alright, time to take a look around. Okay.
Stop hitting me! Help! Mr. Edgeworth!
Cease and desist, you beast.
Ah! Somebody help out me!
Stay, Isaiah, stay.
Who's that?
Oh, I remember this lady.
Oh, you found my friend to play with. Good for you, girl. Play with? Your elephant nearly ate me.
No way, she'd never do such a thing like that.
Isaiah doesn't even bite. At least, not very often.
So she does have a taste for human flesh.
How did you like meeting a real live elephant up close? Aren't you glad you did? Yeah, glad I didn't die.
But you did have fun, right? Right? There, sweetie, don't cry. She had a wonderful time, didn't she, Kay? Don't mislead the poor girl, Fender.
She did? Oh, I'm so happy.
Here, let me make it up to you. How about a hug? Keep your trunk to yourself!
Aw, another new friend. Isn't this just the best day ever?
I am Associate Defense Attorney Miles Edgeworth.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I haven't even introduced myself. I'm Regina. It's so nice to meet you. I'm Kay, Great Thief Extraordinaire and Mr. Associate Defense Attorney's Great Associate.
Self-introduction brought to you by the word convoluted.
And your elephant's newest friend is Mr. Fender, the defense attorney. Oh, she's not just any elephant. That's Isaiah, the Asian elephant. Isaiah stopped the second you told her to. You really have a way with animals, Miss Regina. Well, I wouldn't be so much of an animal tamer if I didn't. What? So you're Simeon's boss? That's right, Regina Berry, head of the animal taming department, showbiz division, Big Berry Circus. It's so lovely to meet all of you.
The pleasure's all ours, mademoiselle. Name's Eddie Fender. I'm a bit of an ace attorney. So much for whipping me into shape.
Yes, she's perfect.
What are you muttering to yourself about, Kay?
The positivity, the charisma, the energy. Regina, you'd make a perfect partner in crime for the great thief Yatagarasu.
Great thief? That sounds like fun. My animals and I have stolen the spotlight quite a bit in our time.
That's the one thing we don't want to steal. Gotta keep out on the down though, that's all. All stealthy ninja-like.
But where's the fun without a show?
The dodo sense might get me down. Bummer. I think we got a fundamental difference of opinion going on here.
And indeed appear that negotiations are broken down. Maybe next time, Kay.
Well, Mr. Edgeworth, let's get cracking. Too bad we can't see much of what's beyond that metal fence, though.
Indeed, and we're sorting of information in addition to evidence. Therefore, we should make an effort to talk with any persons of interest as well. If you're the head of the animal taming department, you must be Mr. Saint's boss.
That's right. My dad founded the Big Berry Circus. But he passed away. He was murdered. I'm so sorry to hear that. But we have a new ringmaster now, and he's made the circus bigger and better than ever. He's such a nice man, and he was a good friend of my dad's, too. Wow, that's great. Lucky you. I know, right? It was his idea to set up departments like animal taming, magic, and ventriloquy. Only animal taming and ventriloquy have more than one person right now. But the very big circus is getting bigger and better day by day. Sounds like you guys are really going places. You're getting on well. I'll leave them to it. Can you tell me about the show? Oh, it's a wonderful thing. It even has a story. And if it's any story, it's a love story. Isn't that dreamy?
Sounds like a regular riot. So who's the star of this show? Let me guess. You?
No, silly. That would be Isaiah. And she falls in love with none other than Regent the Tiger. It's a heart-wrenching saga of forbidden interspecies romance.
Ooh, oh, Nelly. I've heard of odd couples, but that takes the biscuit.
And that's not all. There's a love triangle, too. It's so romantic. That sounds pretty incredible, huh, Mr. Edgeworth?
So the elephant is the heroine? I suppose there's a first time for everything. And, who's the third wheel?
Oh, that would be the big old meanie who tries to tear our star-crossed lovers apart. Oh, what animal did you think that is, Mr. Edgeworth?
Given that it's a circus, perhaps a lion?
I think a raven would be cool, like the Yatagarasu. Nope, it's a sneaky monkey.
That certainly lowered the stakes.
Oh, you mean money, right? Nope, again, the role of the monkey is played by Simeon. Money is far too small to play against Isaiah and Regent, silly. Anyway, the villain tries to tear Isaiah and Regent apart, becoming the fated twosome. It's so exciting, isn't it? Wow, it sure is.
So Mr. Saint was more than just a little helper, he claims to be.
Oh, Simeon, it'd be terrible if he couldn't perform with us anymore.
Can you tell me about how you set things up for the performance?
Oh, that's not really my area. Simeon took care of all the lifting and carrying. He's such a sweetie. He offered to do everything by telling me telling me to concentrate on the show. I did see him doing something near the wet well, though.
A well? I recall seeing one behind the stage. You should examine it in more detail.
You should have seen him moving those huge cages all by himself. He's a total hero. Yeah, sounds like something he would do.
Weeping all the while.
He was going back and forth between the yard here and some sort of workshop with all the equipment. The prison gave us special permission to use it for storage. But he was the only one who went down there, so I don't know much more than that.
That workshop must be the one where Knight's body was found. I guess this confirms that Mr. Saint was the only performer to have gone into Workshop A.
Well, this sucks. All we're getting is information that works against us. You have to help Simeon, Mr. Attorney. We're all counting on you. Just leave it to us. He may not look it, but Mr. Edgeworth knows how to get things done.
And what exactly does he may not look it supposed to mean? Simple, sturdily built well, if it's the work of the prisoners.
Somebody left a bunch of tools lying around here. There's a long piece of rope and a pretty heavy looking weight. Let's see, it weighs 30 pounds. Oh, and there's some pulleys too.
Okay, can you stop touching everything in sight?
Oh, come on, it's not like I was gonna take anything.
What exactly are they being used for, I wonder? Mr. Attorney, sir, how are you today, if you don't mind me asking?
Okay, I just talked to you earlier, Mr. Sot.
Oh, heavens, I do apologize. Ever since I came to call this place home, I've been working on my interpersonal skills, you see. I want to be as annoying as possible. I'm currently helping out with the circus show stage teardown and cleanup. But if you have need of me, I'll do my utmost to help. I'm just stepping in and doing what I can, model prisoner that I am. Yes, my stay at prison has seen me reborn. The Frank you see before you as a changed man. Changed man who now targets the recently deceased. No, you misunderstand. That was just a moment of madness. It's going pretty well, Allie. It's going pretty well so far.
Hi, Randy. How are you doing, Venley? Oh, God, who's pinging me? A madness. You're a disgrace to all thieves everywhere. You're right, of course. I can't deny it. I have a long way to go. As a thief? Anyway, as you see, I have a shiny new bracelet now. So it's a straight and narrow for me. Like I say, I'm a model prisoner. That real model prisoner would need to keep telling me that. I'm doing everything I can to prepare for my eventual return to society. Yeah, you even skipped the show to focus on your training, didn't you? That's right. Only 2 inmates were absent, Sawit and Canis. Why didn't you tell us about Mr. Canis sooner? Look, I don't think there's anyone in this prison who would talk about it if they didn't have to. He's, well, you could say he's the real one in charge around here. You didn't hear it from me, but, well, I guess it comes from being the Fixer. The Fixer? Yes, anything you need, he can get it for you. But how does he get away with it? I'm not sure, but he's the only one who does. I heard he has a secret way of getting things into the facility. Imagine that being the Fixer affords Canis certain privileges. Not that I concern myself with such things anymore, of course. I'm far more interested in perfecting my mud pack application technique. And what are these mud packs exactly? They're a special type of mud treatment. They rich with minerals. It works wonders on their coats. I've been practicing on the animals here in the prison. And I hope to treat them all eventually. That reminds me of a certain piece of evidence. I should try presenting it to him. That's the rubber glove I dropped. Would you care to explain why it's so dirty? Oh, of course. That's mud from one of the pet treatments I've been practicing. I was giving one of the animals a mud pack right when the incident happened. I see. Around what time would you say this event? Let's see. Show had already started, so around 9 a.m. perhaps? The thing is, the more mud I applied, the more in the zone I got, and the darker the animal's fur became. There's no trance quite like the trance one enters when one slathers an animal with thick black mud. I think the stress of prison might be getting to him. Of course, it's all thanks to the warden that we have access to such wonderful distractions. I'm eternally grateful. Truly, I am. Setting the stage for the show. Do you think people would be interested in a great thieving show? I'm sure the police would be very eager to attend. What's up? Who doesn't love a good circus performance, huh? A foray into the realm of fantasy. If the performance is a good one, it certainly can be entertaining, yes. Man, I'm getting pumped just thinking about it. A chance to escape reality, overbreathe, can be a powerful tonic. You got that right. Doesn't it just make you want to hug something? Like the circus? Holding the show here, right in the shadow of the fence that keeps these guys in. Guess the magic of the big top is enough to make them forget that they're in the same boat as the animals. Fence. I suppose we should examine it too. It is part of the facility after all. Well, it is the show. We've still got the stage and all this other stuff to check out. He's right. I should also look over the show set and equipment, just in case something useful turns up. Chat over, huh? You don't exactly give a guy a lot to work with, Miles. Kid's really something, huh? Wish I still had a tenth of her starry-eyed outlook. I suppose it's because her head seems to be in the clouds. Right? She's so above it all that no one dares to go against her. Bet she doesn't even need to crack the whip with the animals. The eyes go from starry to steely, and suddenly it's sit, stay. I can think of somebody who very much enjoys cracking the whip. You can, huh? Sounds like a real piece of work. Come on, Miles Reno, spill the beans. Trust me, Senator, one crack of her whip and you'll be running for the courthouse doors. Danger! High voltage! I never saw one of these in real life. Hey, that must be the fabulous garden outside the warden's office over there, huh? Yes. Warden Lagarde mentioned being able to see it from the window on the detention center side. Wish this dumb barbed wire metal fence wasn't in the way, though. I thought it was all one big yard. Given how protected the warden's seen of our little bit of Earth, I imagine it's to keep the riffraff like us out. There you are! Regina Cupcake. Oh, Warden Lagarde. I've been simply dying to sit down with you for a chat, you exquisite little thing. Do you mind if I ask a little about the prison? Oh, not at all. This place is my pride and joy. Home. Home. Sure, it was a prison when I first arrived, and it was awful, utterly disgusting. Awful? I suppose you mean the prisoners were unruly? I most certainly do not. The angels, every single one of them, and they always have been. No, it was the ambiance that was awful. I fretted, I brooded, and then it hit me. The animals! If anyone could brighten up the place, it was them. It is nice having them around. Isn't it just? And now look at my fabulous little family. Why, my darling, frankly, is the bare picture of rehabilitation. Except when he's rifling through dead men's pockets. We have so many success stories among the family, but darling Frankie, really is a marvel. He's thrown himself into his vocational training and is always the first to volunteer for everything. What? And your other model prisoners don't do that? Oh, of course they do, my dear, of course. They're all such triers, such doers. It's just that Frankie, let's just say he knows what's good for him. What does she mean by that? Anyway, he's a very good boy, so do try to be nice to him, won't you? Loud, soaring music, great leaping animals, the very big circus truly has it all. And everyone who comes here gets to see it once a month. Really? In that case, let me see. You better not be thinking of something to confess to. This monthly show, is it always performed by the Big Berry or the Berry Big Circus? Why, of course, sweetie. I'm Regina's biggest fan. That girl's my little princess, my superstar. She's so wonderfully talented. Yes, she is. Yes, she is. She just kissed the fox. Now you made it weird. All right. Now you made it weird. Why did you kiss the fox? And it wasn't like I kissed it on the forehead. Nah, that bitch went straight for it. What the fuck? All right, moving on. She's just so adorable, so sweet. I could just go her right up. You're not lying when you say you're your biggest fan, huh? Why? Which is why I'm worried about her. So worried. It's all because of poor Simeon, you see. If he's found guilty, why, darling Regina will be devastated. So you simply must make sure that doesn't happen, Mr. Lawyer. Please, I'm begging you. If there's anything I can do to help you clear up this awful misunderstanding, you let me know. Regina, darling, you put on the most splendid show for us yet again. The stage, the stars, and you in particular, my princess. It was simply divine. That's so nice of you. I hope everybody else who watched the show enjoyed it too. About that, dear, I'm afraid I have something awful to confess. There were some absences, you see. He must be Mr. Canis and saw it. We were 3 members short. Unbelievable. I know. How will you ever forgive me? I'm sorry, but you're saying 3 inmates didn't attend the show? That's right, sweetie. I counted the seats myself. 1, 2, 3 no-shows. And I always make sure there are enough seats for everybody. But Mr. Edgeworth, that's not right, is it? Indeed, as far as we are aware. Mr. Canis and Mr. Sawt were the only ones not present. This doesn't add up. Who was the 3rd missing prisoner, and what were they doing? It seems we need to investigate further. Oh, I was enjoying my chat with you, Regina, so much, I almost forgot. I must feed the little one. Little one? Yikes! It's a motherfucking alligator. Alligator! You're looking as adorable as always, Allie, my sweet. Ah, she's so pretty. What a cute name. Yes, Allie the alligator. Isn't she darling? She's my favorite, aren't you? Yes, you are. I'm so jealous. Can I pet her? Of course, princess, of course. Boy, howdy! Those two are made for one another. They look like they'll be busy for a while. Maybe we should, go back inside the prison and check the cells?
Yes, let's. Perhaps we can find a clue there as to who our third missing prisoner might be. Man, fuck you, Blades. Sir, Mr. Edward, sir! Whew, I finally caught up with you. Detective, you're not needed elsewhere? No, the judge and the kid aren't here yet. Oh, and I got your message. So you searched the victim's cell? Did you manage to turn anything up? We struck gold, sir. Well, blood anyway. It was right there on the floor. Only in tiny specks, though, but at least it's something.
Yeah, it proves the holding cell was the scene of the crime, right?
Not quite. It proves a possibility, but it's not conclusive yet. I thought you'd say that, sir, which is why I ordered some follow-up work. I asked Forensic to analyze the blood and see if it matches the victims. They're on it as we speak.
Nice work, Gummy. You thought of everything.
Detective, I must say, I'm impressed. Did you hit your head or something? Gee, don't look so surprised, sir. I just hope things continue to go in our favor. Alrighty, so that's proof the murder happened in the detention center. And for our next trick,
We'll find out how the dog got over there.
don't worry, you can leave that one to me. Until the kid and his chaperone get here, we've got the whole prison to ourselves. Which is why I brought my secret weapons along.
Secret weapons?
That's right, a few tools of the trade that I've helped me bust more than a few cases wide open. Behold, the 7 secret weapons of Dick Gumshoe, ace detective extraordinaire. Well, I don't know about you crazy cats, but I'm sold. Miles? Very well, detective. Try using your secret weapons. You got it, sir. Let me run you through the list. Secret weapon number 1, my trusty old metal detector. It's made of steel, silver, scrap. This little guy right here will find it. So it detects metal. Very good, detective. Next up, secret weapon number 2, Missile. Everyone's favorite crime-fighting canine. I love Missile. Look at this. Look at this fucking face. I love Missile. He can track pretty much anything, any scent you put in front of him, especially food.
He sure is a lot cuter than Mr. Canis' dog.
For secret weapon number 3, where'd I put it? Aha! Am I one snapper short of a school, or is that a fishing rod? Don't tell me we're going fishing for clues. No, I mean, I just happen to have it with me is all. I see. Well, onwards and upwards, detective. Let's see what else you have. That's all she wrote, sir.
Gummy, you saw your 4 secret weapons short of your so-called 7, and one of them was a fishing rod.
Sorry, but that's all for today, okay? I'll, show you the rest next time. What do you think I call them secret? God can't just go sharing everything at once. That's crazy. In that case, then I suppose the 3 you've deigned to reveal to us will have to do for now. All right, which one do you want to try, sir? Let's try the metal detector. The metal detector seems promising. Right up, sir. I'll just crank the little girl up. And away we go. Is everything all right, detective? Uh-oh, looks like I should have brought a spare battery.
Oh, that's not gonna be much help.
All right, sir. Looks like the metal detector will have to wait. Let's try something else. All right, which one do you want to try? Let's try that fishing rod, I guess. Give that fishing rod a try. You got it, sir. There's a pond in the prison yard. We may find something helpful lurking in the depths. Yes, sir. Leave it to me. Ah! What's the matter, detective? You're not going to believe this, sir, but I had something big for a moment, and then it took off with the bait and my fishing line. There's a real whopper lurking in these waters. Come to think of it, there's an alligator living in that pond. I probably shouldn't tell the detective that you nearly lost more than just a secret weapon. Looks like the fishing rod won't be of your use, sir. Let's try something else. All right. A missile. You got it, sir. Hey, Missile! Here, boy.
Oh, he really came.
So, what are we tracking? We're trying to find out how Mr. Canis' dog got the holding cells in the first place. I suspect the same route was used to bring Knight's body back to the prison. So we give the pooch a sniff of the body.
And he'll find the route for us.
So, does anyone else smell something sweet? All I smell is the odor of blood. It's faint, sir, but it's there, almost like cake, maybe?
With the body smell of cake.
Okay, Missile, get a nose full. Here we go, follow that dog.
That's the way to...
He's headed for maximum security.
Oh, he's going in.
Then we'll just have to follow after him.
Candace isn't in his cell. It says Candace cell. But the man himself is absent, it seems. Is he meeting with someone in the visitor's room? Do you think Missile's onto something?
Shh. Look, looks like maybe he is. Oh, angry. Angry Borkin.
Is there something here? Let's get snooping, Mr. Edgeworth. Look, Mr. Edgeworth, the chisel on the floor is a bit smaller than the others.
I'm no woodworker, but perhaps it's an all-purpose one that can be used in the pinch, regardless of the job.
Yes, and to carry. Hold on. King, bishop to G2. Bishop to G2 is here. Looks like the board's changed. My opinion of a thief? Nope, it's my opinion as the great thief. Looked into that one. This is chess set, complete with a special dog place piece. That's not a chess set, that's a whole chess table with legs. Look, it might even be worth something too. It's not inconceivable, some of them are... This is quite a nice one. I never would have pegged Mr. Candace as a chess fan. But with the whole Eastern aesthetic he's got going on, I thought he'd be more into Go.
Go, huh? Can you play?
I can play Go Fish! Not the same thing, Kay. Not even close. Tea and rice crackers. Mr. Candace clearly doesn't lack for comforts. I could think of worse place to spend my time in jail than drinking tea and playing chess. I thought this was maximum security, not maximum comfort. How come nobody else gets this special treatment? Explaining to me isn't going to help. Perhaps he would take it up with the main himself? Yikes! No thanks. Candace's chisel. Her own potential murder weapon. Hey, that reminds me of something. The furrows in your brow. When you frown, it looks like somebody took a chisel for your forehead. I have no idea what you mean. See, they're so deep. Don't tell me you don't see it, Mr. Wood Carving Face. Have you quite finished?
What's the matter, boy? Wait, is this cake what you were after? Oh, get a missile. Whoa! Downpour! Stop that! Oh! No, you can't have it! Dogs can't eat chocolate, you know that? If you won't behave, I'll just have to eat it myself. Not bad.
That's some real outside the chocolate box thinking there. Not sure everyone agrees, though. Gummy! I wanted some. Daring you to both assume the food in the prison is safe to eat. Well, daring or dumb.
So anyway, it looks like it really wasn't cake Missile was tracking.
Talk about a waste of time. I suppose we got our just desserts. But the little guy is definitely capable, right?
Sure he is. That was just a blip. He'll follow the right side this time, I promise. Seek, boy.
Oh, Missile's onto something.
Oh, I think he's onto something.
Whatever it is, it's in there. Mr. Carcerato's cell. You need to take a look inside.
Detective, call the guard. Yes, sir.
Thank you, officer. A question before we begin. Is the prisoner Mr. Carcerato still in solitary?
No, sir. He came back a little while ago. He was here for the noon roll call. Guess he must be on work duty someplace.
I see. Now, if you'll be so kind as to open his cell.
Yes, sir.
I'm surprised what they give the prisoners heaters. Usually kind, or unusually careless. I wonder if he uses it all year round. Help him lose water weight, maybe. Yeesh, I hope his furry friend can deal with the heat. I'm sure they've learned to sweat things out together by now. This punching light has certainly seen some use. Missile! What a breed? What breed were you again, Missile? Sure it wasn't that boxer?
No way.
No way indeed. Quickly, detective. Move this sandbag aside.
Yes, sir.
Oh, could this be?
Whoa there, wait, Missile.
I'm going in too. Wait, stop.
Sir, I'll go get her. Oof, that's tight. I shouldn't eat that cake.
He's gone. Well, I'm not going in there. Guess we'll just have to wait. Hello, Kay? Are you alright? You're not gonna believe this, but we're in the detention center.
The detention center?
The hole is a tunnel that leads right into Mr. Knight's cell.
What? Don't go anywhere. I'm on my way. Good boy, Missile. Good boy, Missile. Good boy. Good boy, Missile. Good boy.
Kay. Hey there, Mr. Edward. Guess you could say we made a breakthrough.
Quite. At least they came out unscathed, I think. Sir, the floorboards under the bed were torn up.
So that's how they did it. There's no doubt about it. This must be the route we've been looking for. Corridor connecting the detention center and the prison is locked down by heavy security.
With the help of this tunnel, it can be circumvented. It was a sweet scent that started this whole search. Could it be that the scent was in fact coming from Knight's body after all? Incidentally, Knight's body was covered in dirt. Dirt that might have come from being dragged through this tunnel. But man, fair. Kay, what was it like down there?
Well, it was pitch black, so I couldn't see a whole lot. Luckily, my camera has a flash. I took some pictures.
You captured. Look at that. Spoons, fork. Guess they were digging a tunnel. They were for digging the tunnel. That aside, those footprints, paw prints even, from a dog perhaps? This is a vital piece of evidence. However, it begs something of a question. It does? Mr. Carcerado has been certainly making use of this tunnel, which means we sit down and relax. We'll give it a little bit. Hope everyone's enjoying the content so far. Just relax for a minute. Hope you guys are having a good time. I said I like to make sure that everybody gets the same experience. I know the VODs are a little weird now because of it, but I enjoy making sure everybody has a good time. I at least try to, anyway. Alright, welcome back everybody. We're right back into it. Just gonna post that real quick.
Detective, we need to find out where Mr. Carcerado is, immediately. If my suspicions are correct. Huh? Huh? Oh, nuts! The guards were alerted and they began searching for Mr. Carcerado right away. But after a thorough investigation of both the prison and the detention center, he was nowhere to be found. Well, have the police been notified? Yes, ma'am. We just finished liaising with them a moment ago. They set up a cordon around the entire facility. Good. The first blemish of the prison's spotless reputation is always the ugliest. It won't happen again, ma'am. Rather different warden the guard to the one we've seen so far. Mr. Edgeworth, was it? I really can't thank you enough for finding the tunnel, darling. Sadly, it may have been a little too late or too late, since you may have already left the building. I'd say that's unlikely, Warden. After all, there's a security gate at the exit of the detention center. You're not suggesting he simply walked through it. What's to say there was only one tunnel, sweetie? I suppose that's true. Well, whatever the case, this is no time to be standing around chit-chatting. Mr. Edgeworth, would you mind continuing with your investigation? It would be my pleasure. And you three can get back to your posts. Yes, ma'am. Detective, the results of the blood test just came back from the lab. Thanks, pal. Let's see what we have to tell about the blood that found in Knight's cell. What does it say, Mr. Edgeworth? It would identify the blood, and it's Knight's. Nice job, everybody. Teamwork makes the dream work, huh? We've got Knight's blood in his holding cell. A tunnel and a dog clearly went through. And security footage showing Knight being attacked by the dog in his cell. Case closed. We have all the evidence we need. Let's see what Mr. Canis has to say for himself. Canis? Darlings, are you sure? Do be careful around him, won't you? He's as well connected on the outside as he is in here. Suppose he would have to be. How else would the so-called fixer stay in business? The police have been trying to track down his accomplices for the longest time. Even I got to lend him a hand myself, you know. That's what it was all about. You're still not talking, ma'am? Even with the evidence you borrowed from the precinct? No, I've tried so many times, I've lost count. What am I supposed to do? I can't send in a blank report. As a killer from hire is always going to be a tough nut to crack. You borrowed evidence from the police to help with your investigation, is that correct? Why, yes, sweetie. Everything related to Canis is with me now. Heaven knows I've tried how many times I've pulled the secretive scoundrel into my office to talk to me. No matter what I say or how much evidence I present him with, he simply won't say a word. There's no one conducting interrogations herself. That's irregular, to say the least. Let your guard down here devour you whole. Be careful, darlings. You have been warned. Wowee! Hoo-wee! And here I thought things couldn't get any spicier. Oh, Lord, these two. Judge Cavell, I didn't expect to find you here. We have been conducting inquiries, which, given that we are in charge of the investigation, is hardly strange. What is strange is that you are still here, Mr. Edgeworth. I gave you a warning, did I not? I told you that your bag was at risk, should our paths cross again, and yet, here you are. I am sorry you had thought I might be so easily discouraged, Your Honor, but I am not about to let the truth slip away from my grasp, no matter what you or the committee might say. I am here to present a certain someone with evidence that you yourself should have uncovered. You have more business with me, I take it, Mr. Edgeworth? I do. I promised I would be back to prove that you were the killer, and here I am. This should be amusing. Very well, whenever you are ready.
Objection!
Not so fast! We have some truth of our own to share, first-rate deductions, in fact. Indeed, we are now more certain than ever that Simeon Saint was the murderer, and that only he could have moved Mr. Knight from his holding cell to the prison proper. We shall prove this to you beyond a shadow of a doubt. But first, a question. Are you quite determined to continue on this course, Mr. Edgeworth? Should you fail to rebut our deductions, there will be no going back. Your very career hangs in the balance. What?
You mean you'll take his badge away if you don't like how this goes? That's intimidation!
Not at all. If anything, I'm showing him mercy. This is not Mr. Edgeworth's case. It never was, and I'm under no obligation to hear him out. He is prepared to accept the potential ramifications of his actions. I will allow him one last chance. Well, are you truly willing to take the risk? To put your beloved badge on the line? Mr. Edgeworth!
Sir!
I accept your terms. I am confident in my reasoning. And what's more, I am representing the firm of Edgeworth & Company, and I do not intend to besmirch its name. My duty will be done, and I will not be intimidated. Very well. Let us see whether you are brave or simply reckless. By the power invested in me by the almighty goddess of justice. Let this judgment commence. Eustace, if you will allow me. Fight by me. It's all yours, Gavel. You are aware that the incident involving Mr. Knight the day before yesterday, I assume. He's assaulted an innocent guard and stolen his keys. Later, in the middle of moving a large animal cage, Mr. Saint drops up by Mr. Knight's cell for a little visit. That's when Mr. Knight stole out his cell using the key he'd stolen. He slipped into the cage, and there he hid as he was wheeled to one of the prison's workshops. Figured she was going to make Mr. Saint go into Knight's cell. Yesterday, after you were so kindly made us aware of the security camera footage, we decided to take a look at it ourselves. Perhaps you would like to see what we found? This is the still from the footage we received. Mr. Zane speaking with Knight in his cell. Correct. You will also note that he has positioned the cage in such a way as to obscure the camera's view. It is this blind spot that Mr. Knight exploited in order to enter the cage undetected. A sound induction based on what can be observed, wouldn't you say? Blind spot, which means that the camera wouldn't have been able to capture the moment Knight entered the cage, if he did at all. It's still possible that he didn't actually leave his cell at that point. I don't get it. Why would Mr. Knight want to hide in the cage? There's the only one possibility. He intended to escape. A prison break! That's so cool! Mr. Carcerado, Mr. Knight, everybody's doing it. I have to step up my game. Okay, now is really not the time. Mr. Carcerado's escape is no laughing matter. It's my belief that Mr. Saint helped Mr. Knight with this escape attempt. That is to say, he was his accomplice. Wow, go Simeon! That wasn't a compliment. I understand that the cage was briefly taken to one of the workshops. I imagine that had things gone to plan, Mr. Knight would have remained in the cage until after the show, and then removed from the premises along with the rest of the circus equipment. Unfortunately for Mr. Knight, Mr. Saint had other ideas. He killed his friend in cold blood. Judge Cavell's argument seems reasonable. There must be a fault in our logic somewhere, and I'm going to find it. The incident involving Mr. Knight appears to be
Hold it!
Your Honor, what about this incident? You heard about it, of course. Surely an attorney worth his salt would have heard sources. Yes, I'm aware of it, of course. I simply wish to confirm. Overruled. You're wasting both our time. Shall we continue? Mr. Garden stole his keys.
Hold it!
Do you have any proof that Knight stole the keys? I can think of no other reason for him to carry out such a brutal attack. So we heard about the incident. The car was attacked by, and his keys, including the one to Knight's cell, were stolen. Maybe I think yes, this is still missing. It's found the guard assigned to return Knight to his cell was knocked unconscious with a single blow. The guard's keys to the holding cell were stolen, but Knight denied having taken them. There's a chance Carcerado took him. Well, we'll see about that. Once the guard he assaulted regains consciousness, I'm sure he will confirm our suspicion. Be so sure. Perhaps I should press her further on her reasoning. Sorry, but I believe there is a flaw in your reasoning. If Knight had the keys, there's nothing to stop him from leaving whenever he wanted. Why wait for Mr. Saint? There's no need, surely. He chose the option he deemed most likely to succeed. He stole the keys and hid them somewhere. Then waited for the opportune moment to present itself. He hid the keys. I am afraid you might have made an uncharacteristic oversight, Your Honor. but Knight wasn't hiding any keys. That has been proven already. It's the piece of evidence that proves Knight didn't have the keys. I mean, I think it has to be this.
Take that!
You can look at this, Judge Cavell. It's not the right one. Correct that, Mr. But that doesn't mean I should give up. Alright, so we're at the right spot there.
Hold it! Take that!
There we go. I just had to find the right thing. Since you know about the incident, I assume you must already know this, but after the assault, the guards searched both Knight and his cell and no keys were found. And if the whereabouts of the keys cannot be proven, then neither can your theory. I have considered the matter of the missing keys, and I do not think it is such an issue. I still believe you had them. After all, the guards only stated that they were unable to locate them. And this is because they were cleverly hidden inside the pocket chest set. Knight's chest set. The same set in which the murder weapon was also allegedly hidden? Was it? I can't help but wonder about that. What? But you're the one who proposed it! Actually, if you recall, that was your assertion. Two of them aren't in one mind on this, I take it. Allow me to restate the facts. Mr. Knight had the keys he stole from the guard inside his chest set. Mr. Sent came to see it. Mr. Knight used the keys to open his cell and climbed inside the cage. He was then moved from the holding cell to the workshop in the prison proper. And with the help of his friend and accomplice, he had things gone according to plan, he would have been taken over to the facility after the show. But they did not. Instead, his accomplice murdered him while the show was taking place in the yard.
Objection!
But Mr. Saint was a part of that performance. He would have never had time to commit the murder.
Overruled.
How indeed? Allow me to explain. As you know, many stage performances allow us a narrative. Yesterday shows one such example. She's done her homework, I see. The suspect played the role of the antagonist opposite the elephantine heroine of the show. In the latter part of the performance, the heroine's love prevails and the villain is defeated. This victory is depicted in a very unique manner, whereby the villain is sent flying from the stage by the heroine. He is sent flying by the element? Isn't that dangerous? Having been ejected from the stage in this manner, the villain no longer appears in the performance. In other words, the suspect did not appear on stage for a period of approximately 15 minutes. You're saying that the crime took place during that time? Yes, I'm afraid so. After all, it's more than a sufficient window, wouldn't you say?
Objection!
Committing the crime and return to the stage in that short 15-minute window is only possible, assuming that the murder took place in the prison proper. But in fact, Your Honor, the real scene of the crime was Knight's cell. I seem to remember telling you that I would not accept that part of the security footage into evidence.
Objection!
And you won't have it. I have a proof of a different kind. Very well, would you be so good as to present it? Proof you have that the murder took place in the victim's holding cell. We have the blood test.
Take that!
This appears to be a photograph of a floor. Almighty Goddess of Justice, grant me patience. That floor you're so dismissive of, Your Honor, has traces of Knight's blood on it. Traces, sir? Is evidence reliable? After all, I don't believe you have access to the necessary forensic operatives.
Objection!
I have my resources. A certain blunt instrument, you might say, but a reliable one. The detective, how very unfortunate for him. Perhaps before you decided to circumvent the law, you might have considered that the committee's influence extends to the police. Oh no, not Gummy's badge is on the line too! Forgive me, detective. I didn't mean to put you at risk as well. I mentioned the fact that Mr. Knight's blood was found in the holding cell into evidence. However...
Objection!
Yeah, bad luck, idiots. You're really on the edge now, Mr. Worthless. Mr. Winner, I'd forgotten you were there. It was nice while it lasted. I just wanted to tell you that your entire argument is one big inconsistency. You showed us camera footage of a dog killing Mr. Knight in his cell. Are you saying the mutt also wiped the blood up before it left the scene? Oh, what other tricks can it do, huh? A blood-wiping dog? You're a joke. You'd have wiped that blood up, wouldn't you, boy? Yes, Helmut, yes, you would. What? That was one of the tricks I taught him before our work together was so rudely cut short. He's a very tidy boy, you know. Never misses a drop. It wouldn't do to leave any evidence after all. Saved by an assassin of all people. Gee Louise! You could have just taught the little guy to shake hands. Oh, he does that marvelously, too. Although, the way I taught him to do it is somewhat unorthodox. First, he bites down hard on the victim's hand. Then... La 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 la, I'm not listening! I see. Very well done, Mr. Edgeworth. It seems you may have gathered some evidence worth considering. Your understanding is much appreciated.
Objection!
Wait, I'm not done yet. I just thought of something. Overruled. Oh boy, someone's taken no prisoners. Eustace, would you be so kind as to allow me? All yours, Gavel. Well, do you accept the truth now? The crime took place in Knight's holding cell, and the assassin's dog was the killer.
Overruled!
My position is the same as it was yesterday, until you can explain how the dog moved between the prison and the detention center. I cannot accept your theory into evidence.
Hold it!
I thought you might say that, which is why I'd like to show you something else. This piece of evidence shows the dog could freely travel between the prison and the detention center.
Take that!
This is... It's a secret passageway. It runs beneath the prison. What? A secret passageway? It was dug by one Mr. Rocco Carcerado, escapee. At least from his prison cell to a certain holding cell in the detention center. Yes, the very one where the victim was being held. Well, this is certainly a surprise, thinking it was beneath our feet this entire time. Mr. Canis, you knew of this tunnel, didn't you? Because it's the same tunnel that was used to carry out the murder.
Overruled!
In the name of the Goddess of Justice. Overruled, Mr. Edgeworth. You are out of line.
Hold it!
How so, Your Honor?
Overruled!
Evidence is everything, whether in a court of law or the scene of an investigation. Isn't that your little catchphrase? It just so happens that I have some evidence of my own. Rocco Knight's autopsy report. His autopsy report? When did we get that? How do you not know you had it? The police handed it to me only a short while ago. The findings are still preliminary, but it has something of value to tell us nonetheless. The Goddess of Justice speaks to us through these pages, Mr. Edgeworth. Cause of death, stab wound to the throat. An open is said to be a sharp blade of some sort. The victim was stabbed repeatedly in the same spot, resulting in an ugly wound. As such, the police have yet to identify the exact shape of the weapon. but its overall nature seems to be beyond question. It is a blatant metal instrument. In light of this evidence, do you truly wish to continue with our flight of fancy? Or you now claim the dog has used a knife instead? That's impossible! That will be all this court is adjourned.
Objection!
But the tunnel, the paw prints! What of them? Helmut is something of a wanderer. Perhaps he just happened to cross this tunnel one day. Although, I couldn't say for certain. I myself cannot wander so quite so freely. It'd be quite a coincidence, but I can't prove it's not the case either. She sure knows how to keep it secret, huh? Kinda wish she'd kicked us in the teeth a little earlier with that. Waiting for the perfect moment to crush me with that autopsy report. And I fell for it, hook, line, and sinker. You are the lead attorney for the defense, correct, Mr. Fender? This is the interim autopsy report in question. I do apologize for the delay. Yeah, no sweat. Thanks for hooking us up. Yep, this is all checks out. Yep. Mr. Fender, a handshake is not necessary when receiving official documents, you know. So please feel free to let go of my hand. It's not a holy relic, after all. Was just trying to be friendly, Your Honor. Had you lingered a moment longer, the gods of justice would have spoken to you through my gavel. All right, I got it. Nice work, Gavel. Just like we planned. I did only as you instructed, Eustace, but thank you. Given the police, I have no choice but to accept its legitimacy. But if the dog didn't kill Knight, then that takes Candace out of the running. The goddess of justice speaks to me, Mr. Edgeworth, and she is merciful. She tells me that you might yet keep your badge if you will finally abandon this fruitless quest. What's our move, sir? I think she really means it this time. What do you think, Detective? My answer remains the same, Judge Gavel. I will see my duty done, and I will not be intimidated. Even with how things stand, you still refuse to concede. This may very well be your last chance. Your badge hangs by a thread. Then let it fall if it must. I have something far more important to protect as an associate attorney. My client. The goddess of justice is no doubt saddened by your refusal to execute another offer of mercy. Attaboy, Miles. That's what I like to see. Looks like the defense never rests. It's really starting to mean something to you. Credit to your old man, though. He's the one who said it first. My father? In fact, I could swear I saw Gregory's spirit in you for a second there. You said that you changed since your days in Von Karma's shadow. I didn't believe you at first, but I'm starting to. Thank you, Fender. Alright, kids. This is where the rubber really hits the road. Put your thinking caps on. It's make or break time. It's true that Knight was off with a bladed weapon. Does our whole case really fall apart? Bladed weapon. Of course. There were 5 chisels in Candace's cell when we last looked. A former assassin certainly wouldn't struggle to commit murder with a tool like that. In which case, the weapon that killed Knight was... Have you quite finished? It would be in your best interest to concede. Evidence is everything. It may well be my little catchphrase, but it's also true. So the murder weapon was a sharp blade. Then where is it? The guards didn't find it? Why can't you let this go? So what if they didn't find it? What are you driving at? What if I were to tell you that I now know what the real murder weapon was? And it was right under our noses this whole time. Indeed. It was one of Mr. Candace's chisels. What?
Overruled.
I would advise you to stop bombarding us with your irresponsible half-baked theories, Mr. Edgeworth. You repeatedly insisted that Mr. Knight was killed in his cell by a dog. I simply go where the evidence takes me, both in the courtroom and at the scene of the crime. If the murder weapon was in fact the chisel, then yes, the murderer could not have been the dog. But that begs the question of what exactly it was we saw in the security footage. Oh, yeah, the security footage? How do you explain that, Mr. Smarty Pants? Next question. The footage shows the dog jumping on somebody. Mr. Candace's dog jumping up at Knight. The dog attacked Knight, but he didn't kill the man. He didn't? No, Knight was merely knocked out. The dog didn't drag a corpse through the tunnel. He dragged an alive but unconscious Mr. Knight. The real killer was the dog's master. Oh, I get it. By bringing Knight here, Mr. Candace could finish the job. And he could definitely use one of his chisels to do it. Correct. You, Bodhidharma Canis, you're the only one who could have done it.
Objection!
Hey, Mr. Edgeworth, you ever get this on your report card? Refuses to listen. Must learn to respect others. You're asking me or confessing that what's on yours? We already searched Mr. Canis' cell from top to bottom, right, Caban? Yes, we even inspected his chisels. All 4 of them. There wasn't a single speck of blood.
Hold it!
Why, thank you, Your Honor. You have just confirmed my theory. I have? What exactly do you mean? The last time we were here, there were 5 chisels, not 4. Oh yeah, I remember counting them. Definitely 5. And the one that they're using is the small one. The one we thought might be a pocket chisel. Mr. Canis, where did you hide that chisel? A pocket chisel? And what use might I have for such a thing? I am really allowed to leave my cell. In which case, you shouldn't have had the chance to dispose of the weapon. Heh, you dug your own grave, Mr. Canis. You seem to have an idea what this missing chisel might be, Mr. Edgeworth. Would you enlighten us? The cell and where's Overlution, Canis could only have hidden the chisel here. In his cell.
Take that!
Mr. Canis is still a prisoner, despite the comfort he enjoys. He is rarely allowed out of his cell. He could have given the chisel to his dog to leave somewhere, but that would have been far from the ideal. He would have no way of guaranteeing where it might end up. Intriguing. Do go on, Mr. Edgeworth. Furthermore, this room is the only one place where a bladed instrument wouldn't raise an eyebrow. 4 chisels, 5 chisels, who's counting? A fact he took full advantage of. Ah, the old keep the incriminating evidence close routine. Classic.
Objection!
But I searched the whole cell myself, and there's just no way I could have hidden it.
Objection!
I am certain that the murder weapon is here, and that the reason why no one's found it yet is because it was hidden in such an ingenious manner. Do enlighten us, Mr. Edgeworth. What was my ingenious plan? Well, there must be a hiding spot you can use of. Not when you came here previously. What are you missing? You're showing us out permanently, right? Let's get out of here. Come on. The dog. He hasn't made a sound today. When we were here before, he barked and growled repeatedly. Canis even encouraged him to do so. That must be it. I knew something was off. I can hardly believe it, but I think I know where he heard the murder weapon. Giving up already? I expected more of you, Edgeworth.
Hold it!
As well you should. And if you would give me a moment, for this piece of evidence shows where you hid the murder weapon.
Take that!
Your dog. He seemed unusually quiet today. Oh yeah, unlike last time when... Mr. Canis, if you'd be so kind as to open Helmut's mouth. Oh, come now. He hasn't barked because he is a well-behaved boy. I had ordered him to last time. I'd order him again this instant. It's not like we're asking for the world, Mr. Canis. Or do you have something to hide? If you insist, come on, Helmut, open up. And there we have it. A chisel that small was easily enough for a dog to hide. What? A chisel in the dog? Why is there a chisel in the dog? He's been strangely quiet. I guess his brain finally caught up. Eustace, why don't you be a good boy and call forensics? Tell them it's urgent. Okay. Our findings are as follows. Traces of blood were detected on the chisel. What? Not such a half-baked theory after all, was it? All right, so we're on the same page here. This is our murder weapon, yeah? The forensic evidence cannot be ignored. We have no choice but to concede that this is most likely the case. Mr. Canis, in light of the discovery of the murder weapon, the court demands that you explain yourself. We found the route your dog took to the holding cells. Now we have the chisel. How do you propose to talk your way out of this one? You never failed to entertain, Mr. Edgeworth. Why does he always laugh like that? Even when it's not funny.
Poor Helmut. How could they suspect us? You leave me to the choice. I shall simply have to share with you the truth. I did not kill anyone. I have grown tired of killing. Something's not right. Why is he so calm? Very well, the court will hear Mr. Canis' testimony. If you'd be so kind. Gladly. Perhaps you might begin by explaining what you believe my motive to have been. I never knew this knight. I had no contact with him, no connection whatsoever. Given that this is the case, why would I possibly wish him dead? Ah, could it be you are suggesting that it was my canine companion who had the motive instead? Helmut only bears his fang when I tell him to. Thank you, Uplinks.
I mean, when he puts it that way,
An assassin who only kills his acquaintances? Not the soundest business model, I agree. My work required me to deal with strangers, of course, but murder for its own sake, that's not my style. You are a link between Knight and Canis. I should go over the evidence again and see what the heck I discover. I have that. I was looking at it earlier when it didn't have any relevance to what we were looking at.
Objection!
You're getting sloppy, Mr. Canis. You may not have trained your dog to clean up your mess, but some things still require human touch. We found this in the victim's room. It's the record of a game corresponding in its chest. What's more, the game depicted matches the game you're laid out on your board. What? The number of possible games has been calculated to be 10 to the power of 120, and that's on the low end.
wait, so that's 10 times 10, 120 times over, right? 100, 1,000. I give up. I mean, what do you even call a number that big?
A vanishingly unlikely coincidence, that's what. Now, tell us why you killed Knight. Unless, that is, you would prefer to explain a coincidence. Well, they do say the truth is stranger than fiction. It is, as you say, a coincidence.
But that's totally impossible. We just proved that.
A coincidence of a different kind, child. I never imagined my correspondent was the victim, you see. And yet there we are, and here we are. Helmut is as surprised as I am, aren't you, Helmut? Yes, yes. I suppose there is nothing for it to finally tell the truth. Boy, the other prisoners had all gone to the yard, you see. It was a show of some sort, I believe. Here I was, minding my own business, when in comes Helmut, dragging a corpse of all things. I had quite a shock, not the least because of the murder weapon was still in the poor fellow's neck. Of course, I was not too keen on becoming a suspect, so I had Helmut take the body to the workshop. Once there, he removed the murder weapon and brought it back to me, just as I had asked. The dog pulled out the murder weapon in the workshop? Indeed he did. Removing it here would have made an awful mess, after all.
You know something? That makes total sense. Remember what Mr. Sod said, Mr. Edgeworth?
That huge black dog had sunk its terrible teeth into the victim's throat. What did you just say? It was hellish, utterly hellish. It was beast. That awful beast. He killed him. I see. So Mr. Sod actually saw his helmet removing the murder weapon then. Precisely. I can't say I wasn't a little disappointed that he was spotted, of course. Silly boy. It's not like you to slip up like that, is it now? And now you have it. That is about all there is to tell. I did not kill the man. At most, I am responsible for the removal of the weapon. Now, what would that be? Oh, poor Helmut is growing restless.
Objection!
Sorry, but you could entertain us for just a little longer, Mr. Canis. Fender? No offense, Palio, but I don't think you've quite told us everything. I'm sure we'd all like to know why you thought you needed to pull the chisel out in the first place. He's right. It makes sense that he would move the body to avoid suspicion. But Canis had no reason to recover the murder weapon. So the mute one isn't as dumb as I thought.
Please answer the question, Mr. Canis. It was because of the bell. The one attached to the chisel, and the one around Helmut's neck. Have a very distinctive design, if you will. Of course, they were something of a trademark of yours, were they not? I don't get it. How does that even work? Bodhidharma Canis, the blind butcher, his appearance was always announced by the sound of bells. The last sound his victims would ever hear. You flatter me. Though it's been some years since you last saw one of them, you remember them well. Your knife and its attached bell were one of the pieces of evidence seized in our case against you. Yes, it was built when it was but one of my bells. One of only two in existence. Just two? Two and only two. One for my knife and one for my beloved Helmut. Exquisitely crafted, utterly unique. My ears are my guide, after all, and I must be able to use my tools precisely. Of course, as you said, the knife has long since been taken from me. When Helmut brought the body back to my cell, I was rather surprised to hear a familiar sound. At first, I was sure that my knife had been used to do the deed. But no, a chisel. An ordinary chisel. Certainly no assassin's blade. Nonetheless, the belt would have suggested my involvement. Compounding the matter is the fact that I am the only person in this prison permitted to use such tools. It was clear that I would become the prime suspect. And so, the chisel had to be removed and hidden.
Hold it!
Still clear that all you did was have the dog move the body? That you had nothing to do with the killing? How could I? I told you, the chisel is not mine. You need to take my word. You need not take my word, Mr. Edgeworth. Why not have it checked for fingerprints? Eustace. Huh? Me? But I don't know how to check for prints. Get forensics. Oh, right. Sure thing. We got him fingerprints at Mr. Knight's. And Mr. Canis's? Nope, just Mr. Knight's. Oh, and forensics said there's no sign of any prints having been wiped off. Only Knight's fingerprints. This isn't good. Should I get them to check again? Now do you see? I have never so much as touched that chisel. Helmut carried it in his mouth, that is all. Therefore, any prints must belong to whoever had it last. So the murder weapon belonged to the victim? Ooh, that's not helpful. As I said, I have not touched that chisel. Therefore, I cannot be the killer. Do you wish to suggest otherwise? Nothing to counter with. What could this mean? Is he not the killer after all? Is he actually telling the truth? No, he can't be. Sure, this goes without saying, Mr. Edgeworth. But if you do not find a solution to your current predicament, and quickly, I will have no choice but to relieve you of your badge. My patience has a limit, and I will not tolerate you throwing my investigation into chaos. Am I clear? You've done it now, sir. She's serious. Hate to admit it, but the fingerprints turn everything on its head. Not more evidence, I'm back to square one. Wait, something doesn't add up. A few things, actually. What would Mr. Knight have needed the chisel for? You can do a lot with a chisel, child. Break out of prison, for one. Alright, then how did he get it in here? There's no way the guards would let him bring a super sharp tool with him. Right, Mr. Edgeworth? Hey, Mr. Edgeworth! You can't stand there hemming and hawing just because of a little setback. The important thing is finding the truth, you know? Oh, I was in an ad break this whole fucking time. Damn it. I'll give it him. I can wait now. I'll just recap what we did. I get better with these, but I'm not perfect. All right, welcome back, everybody.
this. Quick. All right. All right. So let's see what we got going on here. Doesn't matter how we get there, as long as we save Simeon in the end. So basically, what we saw was she's pissed. She's like, okay, if you don't fucking figure out how this shit works, you yourself are losing your badge. That's where we're at the current moment. Yeah, what she said. I'll second that. You won me around with that, Kay. I'll have to offer you a job for real. It's like I said, the defense never rests. Or rather, like your pop said, what do you think lies at the heart of those words, Miles? Any guesses? Heart of those words. It's like this, as defense attorneys, our client's fate rests on our shoulders. We're the only ones they could turn to. Simeon's our client, and we're the only ones who could save him. So we can't rest, not while he's counting on us. I'm not about to turn my back on your old man's legacy. Are you? Associate with the defense now. No, I'm an associate with my father's firm. That's the role I have chosen. That means that if I fail to save my client, I have failed in my duties. I will honor my father's vision and save Simeon Saint. No matter what setbacks I face, I cannot admit defeat. If one path is blocked, I must simply find another. There we go. That's the Miles Edgeworth I know. Now let's find that new path forward. We can start by trying to figure out how Mr. Knight brought that chisel into the prison. How did Mr. Knight have managed to bring a chisel in here?
Take that!
Usually it wouldn't be possible to bring a metal object in this facility undetected. Because of the security gates, right? Correct, but we already know that the checks at one of the gates haven't been entirely thorough of late. Namely the gate at the entrance to the detention center. The gate is only used to scan people. And any items they brought into the facility only subjected to a cursor check. Are you telling me that the chest set wasn't put through the metal detector? It should have been. Alas, it seems the guards have gone a little lax in that regard of late. And I took advantage of this little oversight and Mr. Saint bring him a chisel. Hidden inside his pocket chest set. It does answer one of our questions. And it suggests that the chisel was indeed Mr. Knight's and not Mr. Canis's. However, we still have one rather pressing problem to address. That of the security footage in which Mr. Knight is attacked by a dog. How does one explain it if Mr. Canis was not the culprit? But then, how do you explain his prints not being on the murder weapon? This one's a real three-piper. Core 2 finds itself wanting a satisfactory explanation. Wait, sir. I think it might be time to show you another one of my secret weapons. Introducing secret weapon number 4. Lil V. What sort of name is that, detective? I came up with it myself, sir. Anyway, you can use it to analyze the video footage. An excellent idea. Perhaps then you might finally see what I am telling. You can see I am telling the truth. There's anything to be found, but it has to be worth a try. All right, want me to talk you through how to use it, sir? Say as I'm not exactly familiar with video analysis techniques, perhaps I should hear them out. Fuck it, why not? Run me through its functions, detective. That would be most appreciated. Yes, sir. Basically, you're just do what you always do. Examine anything that catches your eye. And I can examine things with T, I see. Next up, there's controls at the bottom of the screen. The panels on the left and right let you rewind or fast forward. You can use the middle of the window one to pause. Get used to those and you're golden, sir. Seems I can also press E to fast forward or Q to rewind the footage. I can press space to pause. When the video is paused, you can go to the previous frame with Q and the next frame with E. Or use the same control panels I showed you earlier. Lastly, I better explain how to zoom in. Land the old cursor with the area you want to take a closer look at. Then use the panel on the bottom right, and Lil V will do the rest. Put those 2 expanding arrows right on it. And you can't miss it, sir. And I can zoom in pressing R2. But even when you're zoomed in, you can still examine stuff, just like in regular view. Make sure the previous and next frame get a good look at what's really happening. One thing you can do is when you're zoomed in, is play the footage. So there's that. I see. How do I zoom out again? It's the panel on the right, lower right again, sir. Oh, I'm expanding and collapsing arrows on there because you're zoomed in. And about thumbs up. Let's fire up Little V for real. Remember, just examine anything that catches your eyes, and you'll do fine.
Holding so. Other than that victim being attacked by that dog, I can't see what else it might show us. Suppose we're wrong. What could it be looking at instead? Person in the footage be someone other than Knight? If so, could whatever's attacking them be something else too? Should keep both questions in mind before reviewing the footage.
You never know what you're going to see once you start looking at things up close. Check every detail, sir. You'll find something, I'm sure.
It's odd.
Wait, that's... I suspect we made a critical error of judgment. What we're looking at here is no dog. This animal is a bear.
Not a dog, it's a bear. What? So the paw prints from the photo I took were not canine, but ursine.
A bear? So that could mean... I mean... Yes, I think it could. After all, who else do we know with such a pet?
If we were mistaken about the creature in the footage, nothing to deal that we were mistaken about the person in the footage too.
Maybe there's something in there that could prove it, sir. Something that shows it wasn't Mr. Knight.
You're right. Can't see the person's face. Means that direct identification is out of the question. Perhaps there's something that can tell us who they're indirectly.
Indirectly, like the mirror?
Yes, it's certainly worth a look. Seeing things. Just figure out who this person really is. Also, the fresh could provide only a clue. Have to keep looking. I thought his hands looked a little bandaged there. Connor, thank you for this description. I appreciate it, my friend. Figures reflected in the mirror here, too. Is that a hat? Sir, doesn't that look like the hats in the cards were, sir?
Aw, geez, is that what I think it is?
Have there been any reports of one of the animals attacking a guard recently?
No, not that I've heard of.
This may not be a guard at all, but somebody dressed as one. Perhaps this might shed a little light on the matter of their hat. The missing guard uniform.
Take that!
So no guards have reported being attacked by an animal as far as we know. We did hear about a guard's spare uniform being stolen. Could the person in the security footage perhaps be someone disguised as a guard? Someone attempting to escape without being noticed?
A guard disguise? I guess it might work. Wait, weren't we just talking about someone?
We were indeed. Someone who seems to have successfully made his escape. We had assumed that it was Mr. Knight in the security footage. Well, it was his cell. It's hardly a crazy theory. But now now we know the hole under the bed. Now that we know about the hole under the bed, it is no longer the only possibility. Whoever had access to the tunnel could very well be the one caught on camera. And who is that, Mr. Edgeworth? Would you care to tell the court you believe this person to be? The security footage is Mr. Carcerado.
Take that!
I know who our guard in disguise is. It is none other than Rocco Carcerado, the prisoner who recently escaped from this facility. I'm confident in him because he was assigned a polar bear cub as his companion. But the bear in that video is all black. Indeed, and we have evidence that explains why. The evidence that explains the polar bear's dark fur is the rubber glove.
Take that!
Recall, if you will, Mr. Frank saw its testimony. That's the rubber glove I dropped. Would you care to explain why it's so dirty? Oh, of course. That's mud from one of the pet treatments I've been practicing. I was given one of the animals as a mud pack right when the incident happened. I see. Around what time would this have been? Let's see. The show had already started, so around 9 a.m. perhaps? The thing is, the more mud I applied, the more in the zone I got, and the darker the animal's fur became. There's no trance like that. Like the trance one enters when it slathers an animal with thick black mud. While the circus performers were away, he was giving one of the animals a mud pack treatment. An animal that could have been, indeed, our polar bear.
Overruled.
Mr. Edgeworth, your latest assertion simply introduces another contradiction. Footage from the security camera. I fully understand, Your Honor, and your doubts are entirely justified. Mr. Saw mentioned applying the mud pack while the circus performance was underway. And this does indeed introduce a new contradiction concerning the security footage. It does? Yes, let's put it this way. When would you expect the footage to have been recorded, Kay? It was taken right after they applied the mud pack treatment. It should have been around 9 a.m. In which case, something isn't right about the footage. Really? And what's that? Contradiction to security footage introduced relative to when it was recorded.
Take that!
Mr. Saw said he administered the treatment at around 9 a.m. In which case, the security footage should time around 9. However, the timestamp says 6:42 a.m. On the day of the murder, the prisoners were all went out to the yard to watch the circus. Except 3, Mr. Canis, who are maintained in his cell in maximum security, Mr. Saw, who was administering a mud pack treatment in the workshop, and Rocco Carcerado, who had been awaiting that precise moment to put his escape plan into action. I believe he entrusted the bear to Mr. Saw before entering the tunnel. When the bear then slipped out of Mr. Saw's grasp, run after its human. Mr. Saw would have then left the workshop to pursue the bear, at which point he saw Mr. Canis' dog retrieving the murder weapon from Knight's body. It all fits perfectly, except for the security footage, which should have been recorded from around 9 a.m. However, the timestamp is 3 hours off. Why would that timestamp be wrong? Detective, I would like you to have the security camera examined right away, please.
I'm back, sir. I just talked to the guards and... Seems like all the time codes can slip on these cameras if they lose power.
What?
They're pretty old, sir. Guess the clock stops when the power's off.
Which would mean the power was off for approximately 3 hours at some point. That's not all, sir. You remember how Knight denied stealing the keys? No one believed him, considering, well, you know, he kind of seemed like the only suspect. Turns out, that wasn't all he said. He also said he was knocked out cold, just like the other guy. May not necessarily have been a lie. Darlings, there you all are. How goes the investigation? Is there anything I can do to help things along? Actually, there might be something we can do for you. We do for you, Warden Legrand. Escaping Mr. Carcerado. I believe he may still be on the premises. He is disguised as a guard. Here's the proof should you need it. We're reasonably certain that the person captured on this tape is our man. And if I'm correct, he might even be right here in this room with us now. Hey, Mr. Carcerado would have been wearing a bracelet, right? Yes, a bracelet that could easily be hidden under the sleeves of his stolen uniform. Furthermore, doors out of this prison proper don't have those sensors that detect the bracelet installed. So if he avoided doors to sensors, he could simply wait for an opportunity to finally make his escape. Well, yes, I suppose he could. He'd just have to avoid the workshops and the cells and... Oh my. He's one of you, isn't he? He's here right now. Look, it's Teddy. Hey, pause off. Get your mitts off of me, you old palooka. Thank you, Teddy. Very kind of you to confirm our suspicions. Ah! Dang it, kid, if it wasn't you, Ida. What a thing this to be loved, huh, Mr. Carcerado? It's almost envious. I'm almost envious. Guards, apprehend this man! A moment, if you will. I have some questions for our would-be escapee. If we are to learn the truth, I will need to speak with him. With your permission, of course. I can hardly say no now, can't I? Well, come on then, hit me with your best shot. Mr. Carcerado's escape route led directly into Knight's cell. It's highly possible he has something to do offer. Tell me what you were doing on the day Mr. Knight's body was discovered. So it's you guys, huh? You were the ones who found my secret gateway tunnel? You know how long it took me to dig that freaking thing? The guard's uniform, a dough dug, and a plan in place. I went for it on the day you found the guy. And this little guy just had to come right after me. The sack of fur was covered in mud, too. Had to go back to our cell. Ah, but I got away with it, too. If someone had an off night before you bums down here. You could have dug that tunnel just now. How exactly did you do it? How? Used everything I could to get my hands on, you see. Hammers, spoons, you name it. Searched every dime I had on this cockamamie fixer. And what do I got to show for it now, huh? Do not be disheartened, friend. Tomorrow is another day. There's an outside chance Mr. Carcerado who's met face to face just before Knight's death. I should see what other details I can extract from him.
Hold it!
Tony, you shut up. Who's telling you to hold it? Tony, you said you don't know nothing. You don't know what I had to do. Had to come crawling with a fixer monk. Had to growl on kowtow day after day. How you gonna give me back the hours, huh? The days, the months. Got a word in edgewise. Should have never stuck your noses in my tunnel. Never. Freaking thing.
Hold it!
The uniform. Was that from the fixer too? Uh-huh. Sure was. Heard he had something on one of the guards. Did the guy swipe it from the pal's locker? You were wearing it when you were scrolling through the tunnel? Nope. Would have got dirt on it. Had to hold on to it till I got to the holding cell. Once I was out of there and all dressed up, opening the cell door should have been a piece of cake. Here we go, I think. Freedom beckons. And then the fur ball here jumps on me. Read the moment captured on camera. I see. I'd be grateful if you could add that to your testimony. So I was out of that tunnel and all dressed up, opening the cell door should have been a piece of cake.
Hold it!
It should have been a piece of cake, you say. Sure, anything seems easy after dragging yourself through a hole in the ground. And you are familiar with the layout of the detention center, even though you've lived in the prison? Why wouldn't I be? I ain't like I've never been there before. So the detention center, you'd surely be aware that unlike the doors in the main prison, the holding cell doors are locked with actual keys. Mr. Carcerado needed that particular piece of evidence to make his escape. Alright, so we had the keys.
Objection!
saying that leaving the holding cell would have been a piece of cake, as you put it. Yeah? Oh, you got a problem with that? Because we can make it a problem if you catch my drift. Even once you had reached Miss Knight's cell, you still had another door to contend with. How exactly did you plan on opening it? Mr. Carcerado, I posit that leaving the cell would have been a piece of cake, only because you had the key. I don't got no stinky key. I didn't need one as a piece of cake because the door was open. I walked right out.
Objection!
Yes, I suppose Knight's cell was vacant by that point. There would have been no reason to lock it. And it was indeed unlocked when I went to examine it myself. So perhaps when you finally succeeded today, it was truly unlocked because it was after the murder. You had attempted to escape previously. Yeah, the security footage shows you tried and failed because Teddy caught you. Which was during the circus performance, before the body was discovered. The holding cell was still locked at that time, because no one knew that Knight had been killed yet. Therefore, you must have had the key to his cell on you. Without it, your escape would not have been possible. Are you saying? Could he really have? I believe he could, yes. The theft of our keys was in fact perpetrated by none other than Mr. Carcerado. He was the one who attacked the guard. But not just the guard, Knight too. All to gain possession of the guard's keys. It wasn't me, you lousy bum. I didn't even know this Knight guy.
Objection!
After you stole the keys, you went back to your cell to avoid suspicion. And then you waited for the perfect moment to escape. A moment when the prison would be almost deserted. That's right, the moment of the show, just before the discovery of the body. Unluckily for you, that particular attempt was thwarted by your furry friend. Says who, huh? You got proof, genius? This ain't your win yet. Nuh-uh. I knocked the guard out for the count, and everybody knows it.
Objection!
To play games with me, Knight was as much a victim in the guard as the guard in this case. As a matter of fact, I had proof that Knight had been attacked in his cell.
Take that!
I'm really moving now. Found traces of Knight's blood on the cleanly wiped floor of his cell. What could possibly explain such a thing other than him having been attacked? And it was you who attacked him. You ambushed the both of them and stole the keys. Ah! Why, what's with you, huh? That newspaper wiped that blood up good. Ain't no way you should have found it.
Okay, but why did you think you had to wipe it up anyway?
If they checked Knight and the guard's hands, they would have seen those two never came to blows. But that blood had given up the whole game. Ain't no way they'd figure it was the third man in the ring. Plus, once they started sniffing around on the floor, they'd have found a tunnel in a heartbeat. But I thought the blood to buy yourself a little more time, so you could wait for a better opportunity. Sadly, the opportunity you sought wasn't good enough to get you clear of the prison, it seems. Now, hand over the keys. Right in the kisser. KO'd by a lousy, stinking bum. Fine, you want keys? Here you go. There, I hope you choke on them.
Overruled.
Wait a moment. Mr. Carcerado here had the keys. Indeed, Your Honor. Your theory relies on Knight having used the keys he allegedly stole to escape his cell. That was the only way he could have been able to enter Mr. Saint's cage and be moved to the workshop. Unfortunately for you, we now know that theory can't possibly be true. No! Guess this changes things a bit, yeah? Now the only person who could have moved Knight's body is the one person who knew about that tunnel. No, you gotta be freaking... Mr. Carcerado, you're under arrest. Come quietly now, pal. Well, wait, you got the wrong guy. I didn't do nothing. Alright, fine. I knocked those two chumps out, and I stole the keys. But after that, I went right back to my cell and waited for my moment. Next time I went to Knight's cell, there was nobody around. And I mean nobody. Plus, his body was found in the workshop. You think I just magicked my way in there or something? I couldn't have gotten out of my cell. Indeed, you only had the key to Knight's cell. You couldn't have left your own cell back in the prison. But Mr. Canis's dog could. What? It was not you, but Helmut who moved the body from your cell to the workshop. I get it now. You're saying he wasn't the only con in this conspiracy. Indeed, I can easily imagine that Mr. Carcerado and Mr. Canis may have worked together. Mr. Carcerado could have killed Knight and dragged him back to his cell. And then Mr. Canis' dog took him from there to the workshop. There are no restrictions on the animal movements within the prison. Movement between the detention center and the prison proper, however, is tightly controlled. There's only one possible route, and only you could have taken advantage of it, Mr. Carcerado. How could you be so sure? Maybe there's more of them and you just don't know. Something tells me that digging even a single tunnel was arduous enough. Got that right. Try scraping more than one hole in the dirt with a spoon. Lucky for me, I didn't have to dig the whole way. Somebody already did a bunch of work for me. What? You didn't dig the entire tunnel yourself? Nope. Found it when they put me in that cell. Ran all the way from there to the well in the yard already. Even looked down the well to check it from there. It was the same tunnel, all right. I just made a good on what somebody else started already. Then what was the original tunnel for? Who knows? You're the only one with all the answers, pal. Maybe somebody else tried to break out. Or maybe the animals dug it. Like to get water from the well or something. I've heard of more plausible scenarios than that in B-grade movies, Kay. Well's dry, kid. Ain't no water to be had down there. Though, come to think of it, the smell. Yeah, always smell kinda nice down there. Nice? Gee, I don't know. Smells sort of like dessert, I guess. A sweet scent. Sounds very familiar. Where did we come across a sweet scent before?
Take that!
Detective Gumshoe noticed a sweet smell when we were examining Knight's body. With the help of a police dog, we followed the scent of a body and traced its route back to the route of the prison. And that, Mr. Carcerado, was how we found your tunnel. Could that same sweet scent be what you noticed coming from the well? Very clever, Mr. Edgeworth. You mean to suggest that this is evidence of the body not even been moved through the tunnel? I do. Furthermore, Mr. Carcerado, you are the only person who could have done it. Nobody else had access. You have thanks, Mr. Carcerado. Truly. Finally, the truth comes into view. Now, unburden yourself. It is time. Confess your role in this tragic incident. What? You ain't pinning this on me. I'm glad we are finally in agreement, Your Honor. Oh, if only we were, Mr. Edgeworth. Mr. Carcerado may have been accomplice, but not of Mr. Canis. No, he was working with Mr. Knight.
Hold it!
What do you mean? I do not believe that he moved Mr. Knight's body. Instead, I believe that he lent Mr. Knight the use of the keys he stole. You gotta be kidding me! Granted, it seems likely that he attacked Mr. Knight, but it doesn't necessarily mean that Mr. Knight was knocked unconscious as a result. What if he wasn't? What if he and Mr. Carcerado reached a certain agreement? And what kind of agreement, exactly? Mr. Knight was plotting an escape for which he required the means of leaving the cell. And there was that precise means, in the form of the keys Mr. Carcerado had just stolen from the guard. Mr. Carcerado himself would not need to pass through Mr. Knight's cell in order to effect his own escape. Mr. Knight need only shout and alert the guards, and Mr. Carcerado's plans would be ruined. And so, the two struck a deal. Lady, the only one striking I do is with my fists. And still you deny it. So, we're agreeing that we still disagree? Mr. Knight and Mr. Carcerado unlock a cell so that when Mr. Saint arrives, you get to escape into the cage. Mr. Saint was then able to move him into the prison proper, just as planned. Aha! And then he took Mr. Knight into the workshop and did the dirty deed.
Objection!
Were neither of you listening? The scent on Mr. Knight's body proves that it was taken through the tunnel, and it was moved from his cell to the... Perhaps if you would let me finish, Mr. Edgeworth? I am not denying that Mr. Knight's body was moved through the tunnel. Then what are you driving at? Is this a trick question? As you say, Mr. Edgeworth, the sweet descent shows the route the body took. However, it did not enter the tunnel from Mr. Knight's cell. Huh? Then how did it get down there? There's another possibility. What you seem to have overlooked. The well in the yard. Could the body not have entered the tunnel from there? The well in the yard? Oh yeah, that thing! Mr. Saint did not take the cage. Mr. Saint did not take the cage to the workshop. He took it outside. There he killed Mr. Knight and threw his body down the well. Mr. Canis' dog then dragged Mr. Knight's body here to his own cell from the bottom of the well. On that note, I would ask you to recall something. What was happening in the yard at approximately the time of the body's discovery? The circus show, right? Regina and Simeon were performing for everyone. Wait, Simeon! Ah! Ah, indeed. As you see, it must have also been him who disposed of the body. Belle is a truly formidable opponent. She so effortlessly adjusts the theory to fit the facts. I propose that Mr. Knight was taken to the yard of the workshop. And as we have established, Mr. Saint was off stage for 15 minutes. Ample time to throw the body down the well. I'm sure you will agree.
Objection!
Your deduction is impressive, Your Honor. However, even supposing that Knight's body was indeed thrown down the well, you cannot conclusively say that it was during the show. It could have happened at a different time.
Overruled.
My sympathies, Mr. Edgewood. It simply could not have been. What? Mr. Casarato was using the tunnel at around the time the show began. Mr. Casarato, did you happen to trip over a corpse when you were down there? No. Place was clean. Body abandoned the bottom of the well before the show began. Mr. Casarato would have seen it. However, he saw no such thing. Which makes it somewhat difficult to support your theory. Furthermore, Mr. Knight's body was discovered in the workshop after the show. In summary, the body must have been thrown down the well and moved to the workshop. At some point during the show. Tell me, who else could have done that but Mr. Saint? Well, what do we do, Mr. Edgeworth? Body did indeed enter the tunnel from the well. Things don't look good for Mr. Saint. Still. Your Honor, your theory is still just that, a theory. And I must that you lack the evidence to back it up. I concede that, for the moment, I do not. May I suggest that we investigate the yard again? Very well. May the goddess of justice go with you. Now then, to the yard. Perhaps we can finally put this case to rest. What's that sound? Yikes! Is there a fire? Somebody else escaped? Should we maybe skip town too? Darlings, please. There's nothing to be alarmed about. By which I mean that's not an alarm. It's the dinner bell. Although I suppose it's rather alarming if you aren't used to it. It certainly scared the heck out of me. I'm so sorry, sweetie pie. I hope you can forgive us. Alright, you two, back to your posts. Chop chop. And as for you, Rocco Casarato, it's time you went back to your room. Yeah, fine, I get the picture. Come on, Teddy. We're out of here. We're in the garden. We'd like to take one more look around the yard now. Oh, darlings, don't you have the homes of your own to go to? Visiting hours are over, I'm afraid. Tomorrow? No, it's simply imperative that we investigate right away. We've had quite enough excitement for one day, don't you? Murderers, escapees, so eventful. Time our guest went home to Betty Pye's, isn't it? Yes, yes it is. Come on now, darling. Don't make me bore you with all that. I am the warden, and this isn't order nonsense. Warden the guard is right. Her word is the law here, and we must respect her wishes. Mr. Edgeworth, your investigation of the yard will have to wait until tomorrow. You may keep your badge for now. The matter of your standing can wait. I bid you all good day. What are you waiting for, kiddykins? Off you go. Fine, at least there is a tomorrow for me. Judge Cavell believes that Knight's body was dropped down the well and then taken through Mr. Casarato's cell to the workshop. Is that truly the case? Do the facts really support her theory? She also seems to believe Mr. Saint had to be the one to move the body. Was he really the only one with the opportunity to do so? Come on, Mr. Edgeworth, tomorrow's another day. We'll figure out a way to save Simeon. I know we will. Yes, we will. I'll prove that Mr. Saint is innocent, beyond a shadow of a doubt. This case is long, but
We're about right where I wanted to be, where I wanted to end it, and we're at a perfect opportunity to do it. So, thank you guys for joining me. We'll be back to this on Sunday. Hopefully, everything goes right, and I'll be back to Fruit tomorrow, but we'll hopefully see. I'm not sure exactly how things are going to go. But yeah, so that's our plans. So, thank you guys for joining me. I'm going to send you guys over to Zanvey, apparently. So, thank you guys, and I will see you next time. Later.